Riddle me this, riddle me that. It's time well spent at the Alpough Show. The human spirit experiment starts now.
And welcome to the Human Spirit Experiment. It is a little after 6 on the west side here, Pacific time. We want to welcome you in, those who are coming in now, those who we start off every show with children laugh 400 times a day and average adult laughs 15 times a day. Somewhere on the way, we have lost 385 laughs a day. Hopefully we can add one of those as we discover the world that we're really in. I've said this numerous times, and I know I'm like literally repeating myself. But as Neo said, listen to the Alpough Show. But did you know the Matrix is really an allegory of the current extremely anti-human societal economic system where the majority doesn't even know he is born to be a slave, see public debt interest, and where the machines are a symbol for the unfeeling psychopaths who made and run the system, which we are all in. System. And before I get going here, please subscribe to my channel and press that like button and the bell so that you can get my reminders. I really appreciate that. So where do we jump off? Okay, now we're going to decide to keep our head in the sand. Now we're going to be in a make-believe world. Are we going to be programmed to not hear anything, see anything, nor speak anything? You know, one of the things I'm learning more and more is that our young people from 1 year old, or actually before they're born, and reaching in adulthood, these young people up here 35 and younger, they're in a different world than we've ever been in, ladies and gentlemen. Well, since the Depression, we'll just call it that. I wouldn't want anyone to go through those times, as my father and many of the elderly people have told me this. Excuse me. Now today, we'll be talking about our, well, I don't want to say they're good friends, but the World Economic Forum. Welcome to 2030 is their agenda. I own nothing, have no privacy, and life has never been better. This is their goal, is that you will own nothing. And the way it looks right now, that's exactly what's going to happen here. And it's happening to our young people. Now, Klaus Schwab basically formed this in 1971, I believe it was. They've just had and finished completing their World Economic Forum on the 26th. So today's 27th, so it actually ended yesterday. Now they have this plan, like I said, where you will own nothing and have no privacy. You say, well, who's the World Economic Forum? Well, they've been around a long time. I'm going to give you a definition of it. The World Economic Forum brings together decision makers from across society, that's rich people, to work on projects and initiatives that make real difference. Through collaboration between stakeholders with varied perspectives, that's rich people who run us, with varied perspectives, our projects deliver concrete and sustainable results and make a positive impact on all levels of society. And their goal is that you will own nothing and be happy. Who's going to own everything? Guys like this will own everything. And the attack is on the young people. Now, the plan is already working. I want to tell you that right now. The plan is already working. And the only way we can see the plan is working is having it put and placed right in front of you. Now, there's many things. I have already talked about the World Economic Forum already in a number of shows that we've gone into Klaus Schwab, his assistant, all the people that are involved. So my whole thing is for you to continue your research and start checking into the World Economic Forum. Start checking and knowing what NATO actually is. The check on the United Nations on who's really running. That's why we've never gone to a vote in Congress since World War II. Everything has been passed through the United Nations and people like this. Club of Rome, you can go down the line, the Jesuit order. Okay. But let's just go with the real estate. And this is what really hit me. Now, in case nobody's not know who this guy's name is, Clear Tax, very easy. He's online. He's on YouTube, Clear Tax. He's an accountant. He helped me somewhat on this of this article here, this information I'm giving to you. And I want to thank you for that. And we're also going to do a clip that can only explain it the way he can explain it, okay? Because, I'm not an accountant. I am a researcher and a reactionary in the realm of how it affects our spirit. Does it make our spirit weaker or stronger? Does it make us be an adult of our spirit, or does it make us be a child of our spirit? Does it help us become a spirit, power over our decisions, being an adult of our decisions? All right, so let's start up in here. The prices should keep rising at least until the end of the year next year. They've been predicting that the housing market is going to keep going up. Now, I live in Arizona. I live in the Phoenix area, and literally houses are $750,000, $800,000 now. So this is unlike anything that this state has seen. Certainly our house has gone up, but again, you have to look at it and what the value of it is. Okay, so let's just go with kind of the prices of the housing. All right, so between 100,000 and 250,000, that real estate realm, that's where we're in, us, my wife and I. All right, so now you think that, okay, in certain senses, that this is a market boom. That's a real estate housing boom. It really is, except in this bracket between the 100 and 250,000. Okay, so that means which is most people are in this realm, the average guy, in what their mortgage can be. And most of them don't want it this high, but again, the $50,000, $60,000 house in good areas is not, you're not going to get that. You're lucky now to get 100,000. Okay, but let's just keep it at that. Now, in this market, it is down 29%. In other words, you would think there'd be a boom, but there's actually a down. It's plummeting. In other words, people in this bracket are not buying homes. All right, so they're down. So what is that? This is the middle class and below. All right, this is how the middle class has disappeared. Why is it down 29%? Hold on for just a second here. Now, the next bracket is between 500 and 750,000. Okay, which is more of a lot what's in this area. All right, California, Northeast, a lot of places in the Midwest, back east. All right, so in this bracket, it's up 19%. So this is down 29%. This is up. You would think that this would be going down too. But what's really going on here is the upper middle class and then upper class, they're still buying. So they're still making that money that's not affecting them. Okay? Now, here we go with 1 million or more. So $1 million house. $1 million house. This is literally almost 10 times more than this bracket. So the $1 million is up 16%. 16%. So the majority, which are in this bracket, the majority, big time majority, they're not buying. All right. So now I'm gonna go now with what I was talking about, the millennials as well as Generation Z. These are the ones that are already grown, they're growing up and getting ready. The Generation Z is getting into the workforce. There'll always be millennials down the road here. Okay. So now, just to give you an idea, interest is at 5.1 average inflation. Interest in mortgages. All right. Now, and it's going to grow at least 2% minimum by the end of the year, because there's going to be another. They already done 2 increases on the Fed on interest rates. So they did a half in April, April and May, half the percentage went up. So it's 1. Then they have another one coming June, and also July. There's going to be another 0.5%, right? Yes. And then also there's going to be another one in October and November. All right. So now that puts that at 7.1 interest rate to buy a house like this. Okay. So now, but just to give you an idea, last year, it's in 2021, interest as it was at 3%. 3%. That's a huge difference at 7.1%. You know, I believe the high was like, what? Just, I want to say 11 to 18%, somewhere in that range when Jimmy Carter was president. So now, all right, so here we are with the millennials and Generation Z. So now they're being completely outpriced. Okay, so it's much harder to get a mortgage now. You have to have a high credit score. It used to be, you could be late 5s, early 6s, 600s, and you could actually get a house. Now they're asking for, 700, 730. All right. And so also next is they're asking for a bigger down payment. So not only do you have to have a higher credit score, but you have to have more money to put down. So this is also making it extremely difficult for the Gen Z and the millennials to get a house. And on top of that, a lot of them already have college debts. Okay? College debt is like coming out of going into the workforce with a mortgage. So you already have a mortgage coming out of college. That's why people should wait. You know, you should wait. Figure out what you want to do. Because a lot of people are paying off these college degrees and they're not even doing what they're doing with their degrees because they get out in the world, decide that they want to do something else. Okay, so most of these people will not own a home in their whole lives. They will not own a home. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the World Economic Forum plan beginning. You can't own something if you don't. You can't come up to the criteria. You can't simply afford it. Now, this is general here, but in the Midwest, average home is $282,000. In the South, it's $352,000. This is in the South. This is general. In the Northeast, it's $412,000, and in the West, okay, and then in the West, it's five. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm right the next zero. There we go. Sorry about the typo. So 523,000. Now this is the West overall, guys. You know, we're not talking. If you just separated California and put Arizona together, well, it probably would be more like 750,000 for the average price. Here in the Phoenix area, 800,000. 800,000. So what does this mean? What at the end of the day that this means? Well, it means that these young adults will be renting. And which means that Big Brother will own everything. Now, the World Economic Forum, they have trillions to back this new plan up. To buy everything, to own everything. That's a whole nother story. But unfortunately, rent has been going up higher and higher and higher. Now I want to throw a little promo, but I also want to about ClearTax. I couldn't have put it any better than this. So I really recommend you going to his stream, ClearTax value, but just put ClearTax in YouTube. He will come up, and he gives great advice. And I listen to him almost every day, and he's taught me a lot. You know, he doesn't get into any politics like I do. So when I watch his show, it's like, oh, wow, I see other things, the world. This is very interesting on what's in it for these millennials and Generation Z on what's coming for them.
A lot of would-be home buyers, they're getting priced out of the market and they're deciding to continue renting. With more renters in the market, there's more demand for rental properties, there's more competition, which drives up rental prices. According to Redfin, as of April, the average rents increased by 15% on a year-over-year basis. Only 3 of the 50 biggest metropolitan areas saw rent prices fall over the past year. Those 3 areas are Milwaukee, fell 8%, Kansas City fell 4%, and Minneapolis 2%. So those are the 3 outliers, but let's take a look at the 47 of the 50 areas that have seen rising rents, and a lot of them have seen dramatic price increases. According to Redfin, the top 8 areas with the fastest rising rents are, before I read you the first one, take a guess who's number 1. Number 8, Newark, New Jersey, rose 28%. Number 7, New York City, rose 28%. Number 6, Seattle, 31%. Number 5, West Palm Beach, Florida, 31%. Number 4, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 31%. Number 3, Miami, rose 31%. Number 2, Portland at 33%. Number 1, Austin, Texas. Rents have risen 46% in the past 12 months. But Redfin data shows that rents, they're starting to slow down. They're still increasing, but at a slower pace.
So, as you can see, rents are out of control. Austin, Texas, 46%? 46%? You see, most of those places he said is where young people want to live. All right? Young people usually want to live in a city. I did. I moved to Los Angeles when I was 20 years old. And I was there 70s and 80s and left in the 90s. Those were the good old days, Billy. So most people want to live where it's happening. And so since they're not going to be able to buy a house, they're going to have to rent. Now, you pay more when you rent than, when you buy a house. Your mortgage is cheaper. And so, and you get something out of it. But when you're renting, which you're going to be doing everything, they're going to say you're not going to own a car. Okay? You're not going to own a car. This is so interesting is because it's like, here's where they want us. See, here's where they want us. You own nothing. You have no privacy. And yet life will be better. Because they want us to stick our head in the sand or put some goggles on. And at the end of the day, we're all getting slapped. I mean, slapped. So for all of us here, we got to make up our minds. Okay? We got to make up our mind. Are we going to have our head in the sand? Or we're going to get smart and prepare? For the young people, I understand why it's so hard for you all to find your ID. Because they're literally, I believe now I'm seeing it. You're seeing that you're not going to get what was available to us. Now, if there's any way we can change this, we can by voting in the right people. And even then, do we know? One thing I do know is I'll be back at 9 o'clock tonight with another episode of the Alpough Show, the Human Spirit Experiment. Bless you, Mother. May you find her, and may we all find together a way to make it.